have me on your show. So I am quite endeared to you. You've become personal friends since that time.
We love you
But
too.
I've also, thank you. I've also had the chance to follow your movements that you've pushed for, missing persons, missing and exploited children, violence against women, murdered victims. That's a lot of work that you're doing, and so stay in the fight. We're telling our Nats, stay in the fight. I want you all to stay in the fight. My take on it is that folks really, bringing guns into these neighborhoods. These aren't the young boys on the streets bringing these guns in.
Exactly.
I really don't believe they're getting these. Some years back when I was in my practice years, we did one of the last landmark cases where we challenged the NRA. I, in fact, went up against and sued the NRA, and this was a case in New York, in Flushing's in Queens. And there was a manufacturer at the time that manufactured what was typically referred to as Saturday night specials.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember that?
These were throwaways. Brico Arms was the name of the company. But I really do believe there needs to be some high punitive measures on these manufacturers that manufacture guns at such a low price that they know they're going to be placed on the market, not for sport, not for anything else, but to be used in the underground world.
Right.
And I believe if we start to criminalize and really put criminal sanctions on these people at the upper levels, that we can also curtail gun violence. I really think it has to be that way, because these young boys in the hood, so to speak, they're not just getting these guns by themselves.
No, they're not.
And the people that they're getting them from aren't just getting them. They're getting them from higher up. And so I think until you start to impose punitive measures on those people, we're going to continue to see this vicious cycle of accessibility to guns and people dying as a result of it.
Yeah, I was looking back in my notes because I had, it's one gun manufacturer who said that, and I can't find it.
Smith and Wesson.
I don't know.
No, that would be two, Smith and
But he said that they're going to stop completely making AR-15s and that kind of thing.
I think it may have been Smith and Wesson. It was one of the original
big
manufacturers.
Smith and Wesson.
I think it was Smith and Wesson.
Yeah.
They're not going to produce AR-15s anymore.
Yeah,
now,
or assault rifles, period. And they're only going to make it accessible to military. They're not going to make it accessible to gun sales. And I like, was it Dick's Sporting Wear? And it was another one. It said, no, we're not going to sell.
I think Walmart and Dick's have said across the country they're not going to carry it anymore.
And they're also not encouraging their customers, even in the open carry states, not to bring it in their stores, because they've even since that shooting in El Paso, they've had to several stores across the country where somebody would walk in with a weapon and everybody would just run for cover. That kind of thing. So there are folks doing stuff, but I agree with you 3,000%. We've got to put some punitive penalties on these manufacturers.
Yeah, I think until you do that, we're fighting a losing war. I really do.
Because then they will stop just giving them to everybody like they're doing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, what I have found out with this gun violence situation is that it's the illegal guns.
It really is.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
illegal guns. It's because we're paying a lot of attention to the legal carriers, which there's already been laws put into place that just have not been enforced on that.
Absolutely.
And what you said, adding the punitive, more damage, towards these companies that manufacture these guns, things of that nature.
Important.
Yes, we can look into those things, but we have an issue with the illegal guns. Yeah. It's really, we need to stiffen those penalties as well.
Without question. I want to add one other thing, too, that if I may. Oftentimes, too, in this country, we have situations of straw purchasers. That's where, I have, say, for example, a felony, and I'm married to Angela, and she doesn't have a felony, but she knows I have a felony, or
so
she gets it for me. She, in that case, should be criminally sanctioned.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I mean, you are committing a crime if you put the hands and purchase a gun to put in the hands of someone you know that shouldn't have a gun.
Right.
There's a reason they have that sanction against them, that they shouldn't have a gun.
By the way, how you doing today?
I am
Yeah,
doing
we didn't
How you doing today?
Thanks for asking me. You know, I say this, and I've been saying this for years. All my days are good. I rarely ever have bad days.
I know that's
And
right.
I mean that. God has
Good for
been
you.
good to me.
You want to introduce yourself because we just got you
we
all
just
into
jumped
that.
all in?
Yeah, we just jumped all in
Well,
and got you into the conversation
well,
and
thank
everything.
you.
Which, you know, is very important because, like I said, I as a person, you know what I'm saying? Just when I first started following you, and we've been friends for a while.
I know, it's been quite some
You
time.
know, we
Yeah.
went through that heartbreaking campaign because
Oh, I know.
I feel as this is my personal opinion, I feel that you should have won that. I feel that you should be the mayor of DC right now. You're always going to be my mayor.
But
you know?
everything in its time.
Yeah, everything
I
in
believe
its
timing is going to be perfect for me.
Yes.
You know, and that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I look at the number of people in D.C. and the number of people who turned out to vote for
Right.
that campaign.
Yeah, that was disappointing in some respects.
That broke
Yeah.
my heart,
Yeah.
and I don't even live in D.C.
Especially east of the river, we had numbers.
Yeah, but it got me.
Yeah.
It also looking at that, it just let me know how, you know, much of a fight we got to put into this next go round.
Come on, we're gearing up.
Yeah. So
If I run again, I never
Yeah.
said that I'm going to run.
Oh,
well,
no,
I know
that's already done.
that's
That's
already.
already
We
done.
didn't already say it.
Yeah, all you
Okay,
gotta
I
do,
have
you
people.
put people in, put butts in seats and let me educate them about the
Yeah.
process. I volunteered to do that.
Yes, and I volunteered to be your platform.
You all were incredible. I don't know, Facebook family and friends, many of you, some of you may not know me. I'm James Butler. I ran for DC mayor in the 2018 Democratic primary. I ran in the write-in as a general, in the general election as a write-in. Former commissioner, former trial lawyer by training, and regular community advocate now. And I want to say these ladies literally, they talk on the radio, but they do as well. They literally came out and campaigned for me, boots on the ground, literature. I mean, I am floored by this. And so they're going to probably yell at me right now, but I'm going to do something because I think this is important, and it's more important. I'm less afraid of them yelling at me. I want to, and I mean this. So everyone, listen up here. I want to at least give $50 right now as a contribution. But I want at least 10 people to match me right now. What number can they call in?
Wow.
301 477 2616.
2616. Please, I implore you. So let me do this now. I'm going to give you.
You is just.
No, I really need to do this right now.
But you
Yes. So do that right now. Do it before other stuff comes in my account and take that $50.
PayPal. You gotta PayPal it to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
you can
do
just
that.
set it there too.
Okay.
But at any rate, I'm contributing $50 right now. I know it's not a lot, but it's what I can do right now, and I will continue to do in the future.
I appreciate you.
But I'd like for 10 people to match me because I know that the work that you do, you back yourselves.
Yeah.
You're supporting yourselves. And you do so much, and I wonder sometimes, how do you do it all?
It's
So-
the push, it's the drive.
I
It has
stopped
to be
smoking
done.
cigarettes, so I had some extra money.
Oh, you did?
And I've been buying bargain basement weave. Okay, I've been going to the bottom of the barrel, getting that weave so I can look cute every Saturday.
Hilarious.
You know what I'm saying? So
Always
I have
look
to.
wonderful.
Yeah, I have to. But
This is that
it's important.
Yes.
That
It is.
important.
It
Yeah.
has to be done. It's something that has to be done, just like what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like all of the work that you put into DC.
I would run for the office of mayor if it paid nothing, I tell you.
I know you would.
Yeah,
I literally would.
I know you would. I mean, let's
because
talk
you've
about,
done enough and you wasn't paid enough.
And I wasn't paid.
Yeah.
I worked
talk
for years
about-
without being paid.
Let's talk about the work that you have been doing
Yeah.
in DC before the mayoral thing. That's what I'm gonna call it.
We've done a lot, you know.
What you been doing?
We've been fighting homelessness a lot. I've now sat on the board of
I've been seeing you
DC
everywhere.
Wise One. You will continue to see me around the city.
Yes.
We feed the homeless. We're literally right out there. We'll set up on street corners in DC, all over DC. We'll feed the homeless. I've been continuously advocating for that, but also affordable housing, directing people to affordable and income-based housing. It's become a lot more rare in DC to get affordable places for people to live. I mean, that is something that is literally shameful that we can't have in a city, the richest city in the world. We have places where people have got to stay under bridges, or they've got to, you know, live on the streets. So we've been really trying to help put a dent in that too, make meaningful. People need hygienic things, you know, when they're out on the streets, you know. Those things are important to me, because sometimes we can do things and legislatively, and that's good because it affects people down the line. But we all know that people have that immediate need, that here and now need.
Exactly.
So a lot of what we've been doing right now is trying to address those here and now needs too. You know, crime is an issue that, you know, it perplexes me in many ways on how to tackle some of the issues that we have. Much of it revolves around you know, becoming better parents. I hate to say it, you know, but
you
that's the
teach
truth.
what you don't know, and too many.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Tell
and,
them.
and if all you know is to do it the wrong way, that's what you're going to do. You know, if Daddy was shooting and, you know, and breaking the law, then you might do that.
I've been really on top of that here these past couple of weeks with the abduction of 3-year-old Camille Cupcake McKinney.
Oh, that broke my heart. Oh, it put tears in my eyes, and you posted on. I probably didn't even comment on it because it just
it's a
really
when I saw
breaks my heart.
Found her
It really does.
In a dumpster.
Yeah, you know.
I just wonder how
anybody
such a deep level of evilness.
Yeah.
You know, when I was out the other day reading to these first graders, and Camille Cupcake wasn't much younger than that. The joy that it brings and should bring to people when they see these innocent kids. How deep of a level of evil does it take? I don't know. Something's happening in the world that really disappoints me. But I am still in this fight because we need to let people that do bad things know that there's going to be punishment on the other side of it.
We got some
not only
that's not going to take it.
What do you think about? Because I was sitting and I was thinking to since this whole situation has happened, I wanted to come up with a law that actually charges these parents in situations like Camille Cupcake McKinney, Relisha Rudd.
You know, I think you're right, and you're onto something. In the early days, after Megan's Law was passed, I worked on the statute actually right out of law school, and was doing appeals under Megan's Law to the Ohio Supreme Court. I had never heard of Megan, never met her, but it's not until something happens, unfortunately, that you know these names like Relisha Rudd and Cupcake. I don't think you're far off at all. Parents do have a responsibility. That child,
because without
3 years old.
Yeah, like I said, that child was 3 years old. She had no business being put in a situation where she can be snatched up off the street. 8:30 at night. Any part of this country, it is dark outside.
It's a 3-year-old and it's 8:30 at night.
I wanted
some parental eyes ought to be on that child. I am sorry. This upsets me. It really does.
I want to hear your input on that. I really want to hear your input on that because
there absolutely should be criminal sanctions for the parents.
Yes.
Your 3-year-old
I call it
ought to not be
criminal
out
neglect.
I think
parent. I don't, and I can't. That's one thing I didn't take a note on this week. But this mother has been found guilty because her son killed himself. He did something to somebody else. But she's going to be doing some jail time. I'll bring that down. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not. In fact,
the parent
was listening so
I'm
closely.
I want to say it was in Texas. I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say it was in Texas, where the parent who did not stop something is now trying to face the consequences. And I agree. When, if your kid is you a minor child, your minor child screws up, it should be some consequences.
Yeah, but I'm
The
talking
kid's
about
not going to be in your house and build a bomb. Or
especially 3 years old, though, too.
Yeah, I'm talking about to this. I'm talking about to the extent of not just on that, like, because we had a situation in DC, just yesterday where it was a 6th grader who bought a 9mm gun to school.
To school.
How
Yes.
What's
does
your
a
yeah.
6th grader get a 9mm?
He got it from home.
Thank you. Thank you. That's the only way. And that's irresponsible for a parent to allow that child to get a gun. Gun lockbox is one. I don't know what you're doing with the gun in your home in D.C. anyways. Unless you've got a special permit. If you have a special permit, you ought to have been through the class that teaches you to lock it up.
Yes.
For those of you that don't know, guns are now legal in D.C. and so carried.
What's your intake on that? Being an ANC commissioner in one of the roughest areas, turning that area, to what you turned it into. That Stardust or Birth Park.
Right,
that place used to be a...
It's changed a lot.
Yes, it has. And that's all because of you.
Thank you so much.
To see these things happening in a city that you help get to a certain point, what is your intake on all of this stuff?
I am, when you push legislation, you push the rules, I also want to be fair and play by the rules.
Yes.
Constitutionally, I believe the court has ruled on it, that D.C. is now permitted to have guns. I would hope that everyone that purchases a gun in D.C. and goes through the requisite training classes, that they're responsible.
Right.
I would hope those people are responsible. I would hope that we don't have any wrongful deaths over people now bringing in additional guns into the district.
Right.
That's my hope. That's my prayer. So I remain optimistic, but I am observing cases where, or any potential cases where we might have any issues with that. So I don't think we've had any yet where a legal gun owner in the district has neglectfully killed someone or been charged with killing someone.
I don't think that was
so that's
a
a good
legal
thing.
gun yesterday. I read that situation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
But remember that sheet I bought in last week? D.C. has, I think it was 711,000 people. 13,000 registered guns. But 66 and 7/10 of a gun. I don't know how that works out. Per resident. So that's 66 times 711,000.
That's a lot.
You ain't wrong.
Yeah.
So my hope is that people, and excuse me, I'm kicking you there. My hope is that people remain responsible when they own these guns.
Yes.
But with the idea of becoming, one of DC's future leaders or the CEO of the city, I wouldn't do anything proactively to try to take away. I believe in the rule of law. That's when it works for me and it works against me. And I believe that the highest court in the country has ruled upon it. And, unless there's a case makes its way to the court, then, the court can decide on that. But as of now, I respect the rule of law.
Yeah. That's all
What's
we
been
got
going on with you? Like I said, I've been seeing you plastered all over.
Yes, I'm
You
doing a lot of
always
writing
doing
now.
something. You've been writing.
I am doing a ton of writing now, and I am getting into the nuts and bolts of how we create real affordable housing in D.C.
Good God.
I am getting into the nuts and bolts and how we change the law
affordable housing
in DC.
or income-based housing.
So when I say it, I'm referring to income-based housing.
Yeah, because there
that's
is
truly affordable.
Tell the audience the difference between affordable housing and income-based,
So,
because that's what people get.
Let me share that with you all, and I appreciate you watching in and listening in. affordable housing is this idea that's based on a formula. The formula is known as area median income, or frequently referred to as AMI. That's a formula set by the HUD. So the feds set this formula that affects a region. So in D.C., you take into account Montgomery County, you take into account Fairfax County. So D.C. is surrounded by, without question, some of the richest counties in the entire country.
Exactly.
And so because of that, what we have is an artificially inflated AMI, or area median income.
Exactly.
So, but what I have learned over the last years is that nothing compels DC to use HUD's formula.
Right.
DC has chosen to use HUD's formula because it arguably wants to be lazy and not create its own. We need to create our own localized formula, and that's what we're working on right now, to come up with that makes housing actually affordable in DC. So when we say we're giving you this, we're actually giving you something that you can truly afford.
You can come out of your pocket.
You know, people haven't bothered to look at this because to a lot of the heads of our city, poor people don't matter.
No, exactly.
You know, I mean, and it's shameful
that's what it feels
to
like.
say that. Well, I mean, we know.
Yeah, that's what
DC is
it
becoming a
feels
city
like.
of only rich people, and that's shameful. Because what we need to do is really focus on this universal housing, is that we're not displacing people. The city can gentrify and grow, but we don't need to displace people at the rate that we're doing. Many cities in America have seen gentrification, but DC has seen the highest rate of gentrification or displacement with this gentrification of any urban city in America.
Right.
That's shameful for the nation's capital of America. It really is. We've got 15,000 homeless people in the city as well. Many of these people are rendered homeless simply because of the cost of the city.
Right.
They work, they have jobs, but they're homeless.
Yeah.
So, you know, what's $15 an hour going to get you? Right in the city.
Right in
you
the
know?
city. Yeah.
And most of the time, people that are what I call the working poor, they're forced to leave outside of the city. And once that bubble continues to grow, what's close enough that you actually want to come in DC to work? Do you want to come from, you know, Prince William County? Do you want to come all the way from, you know, Oxon Hill or wherever?
Annapolis. Yeah.
Because there's a cost of traveling. So if you're in a service job, your wages are reduced by the cost of traveling. They're also reduced by the cost of childcare, if that's a factor in your life. So we've got all of these things surmounting on working class people in this country, and specifically the nation's capital, which has become cost prohibitive for even people that have achieved by standard metrics in this world. So, I mean, we've got to really revisit what we're doing in our capital city and really talk about not only, sure, the cities that we're winning in sports and development is flourishing, but no one talks about all the thousands of people that are getting left behind in the city. I can't stand by and watch that.
Now, I'm now involved with the Industrial Areas Foundation. Are you
I'm not familiar.
Okay, you're familiar though with Washington Interfaith Network, aren't you?
I certainly am.
Okay, that's an arm of that organization, and we met. Yeah, I missed the meeting earlier this month, but I'm working to be the person in Prince George's County working with that organization. But I bring that up because I know that we have in Washington D.C. the Margaret Washington School converted that into living space. Where maximum rent, max rent, $800 a month. People, but it's income based.
Yes.
When people hear affordable housing, they don't know the difference between affordable housing and income based housing, and that's why I encourage folks to use income based, because it's like you said, they take that AMI piece, they take the income from all of the surrounding areas, and they come up with, because I think my sister told me last year it was the median income was like almost $90,000, and you know, folks in Anacostia ain't making no $90,000.
I mean the median income east of the river is $45,000 a year. West of the river, and you know the other
part.
7 wards,
Uh-huh.
or I should say, the other 6 wards.
Yeah, that's
Math. The other 6 wards. It's 120,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you just see those income disparities there. That there's a whole section. The 2 largest wards in the city, 7 and 8, are getting left behind.
Getting left behind.
Really, that's shameful. And actually, folks in the other wards, yes, it is your responsibility to make sure we recognize that everyone in D.C., not just in slogan, gets a fair shot, but truly gets a fair shot. I noticed the mayor's using fair shot, you know. Let's being hypocritical.
Bowser and mayor is just an oxymoron in my mind.
Yes.
Anyway.
So, I mean, you know, that's just hypocritical. I mean, you know, she wants to use it in name, fair shot this, fair shot that. We need people to truly care about the city. Right. Folks, I just made my $50 contribution to the show as well. I love these ladies. They're doing real work that impacts people's lives. Give us the call-in numbers again so that folks can call in and make a contribution.
And also give them your PayPal account.
Okay,
Please.
That's a good idea. 301-477-2616. And my PayPal is Focus TV. At PayPal, pay me at Focus TV, and that's PHOCUZ TV.
And then you will see your picture.
And you'll see my picture, BLAQ ROSE, and the name and everything, so you would know where it comes from. You know, it was kind of hard changing that whole thing. I would have to get a whole new PayPal account. And
you did right.
We're going to keep it moving because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Hey, Belinda, thank you so much for your comment. She said this is a good show. Right. Philip Milbourne said he just learned something about...
Philip Milbourne!
Yes,
the guy that connected me with the ladies. My man, Philip Milbourne.
He said you have his support.
Yeah, good dude. Real good dude, Philip. Yeah.
Okay, it's some changes going on over there in Ward 6.
Yeah.
And Langston dwellings.
There is.
Right now,
yes.
I have a girlfriend of 30 years that's been living over there, sister. She's been there, you know, and they basically came to her and told her that she had to move.
Yeah. Right, I know there's some development happening there. It's common around the city, and that's what I mean by displacement. Now, she's accustomed to paying a certain amount of rent, I'm sure. Now, she's going to have to look for another place in the city to move.
Right.
Now, what D.C. typically offers, if they're selling the building or the building's going to be destroyed or, you know, for the land to be used for something else, there's something called TOPA in D.C. or Tenants Opportunity to Purchase Act. That essentially means when you live in D.C., and this is exclusive to D.C., no other city in the world has this, is that you have a right of first refusal. It's almost like if you're a renter in D.C., and your landlord wants to sell the building, then you actually have a right of first refusal to buy the building in conjunction with the rest of the tenants.
Yes.
Now, if you don't have the money to buy it or you can't get the financing, what landlords typically will do is ask you to waive your rights, but they got to give you something in return for waiving that. Folks, most of the time you can get thousands of dollars for that. So just understand that. When my building sold, I led my tenants association. It was a $90 million sale, a brand new building I live in, as you know. And it sold from Bizzuto to Kettler, but there were sub-buyers, of course, behind it. We formed a tenants association. Somehow I was living a peaceful life, and they came to me and said, "We need you to be president." I said, "I'm not going to be president. I'll be vice president." See, I'm smart. I said, "I don't heavy is the head that wears the crown."
Right.
But so I acted as vice president, and really, and I don't want to slide anyone, but I helped the board in a significant way with some of my legal familiarity to consummate the transaction, and we were able to get thousands of dollars for each tenant.
Oh, okay.
So
and we waived our rights. But we
Tenant Opportunity to Purchase Act. And you said DC is the only place.
DC's the only place in the world that has TOPA, Tenants Opportunity to Purchase Act. It's called TOPA if you Google it. Folks, don't move. Don't let a landlord evict you or push you out unless you look up TOPA first. You're supposed to get disclaimers. There'll be almost a booklet that you should get from your landlord, and you should get a lot of money before you give up your rights.
Yes,
So,
yes,
does this stand for people in public housing?
So public housing has their own version of TOPA.
Okay.
Yes, but oftentimes in public housing, they won't tell you anything about HUD's version of TOPA.
Okay.
In DC. So they really skirt around the law. So don't let them do it. Check.
Boy, I'm
with
glad
housing.
you're on here today.
It's so important.
Yeah.
I mean, as they say, knowledge correctly applied is power.
That's it. Not just plain old knowledge.
Yeah.
all
Not
by
just
itself.
knowledge all by itself is
Correctly
worthless.
applied
It needs to
and
be
taken
correctly
action.
applied.
I'm so happy
Yeah.
to have you here today because
I am glad this is a
Yeah,
highlight of my
yes,
Saturday. You know?
I mean, because just to educate, because I'm really worried because I see the same behavior that they gave when they, took Berry Farms,
Oh, it's the
and
same
when they
thing.
took Arthur Capers and
Yeah.
everything else. It was real bad when they took Arthur Capers, and you think that these people would have wisened up because, like I said, what's part of this that's making us lose our homes and losing, our land and every goddamn thing else is our behavior.
Yeah, a lot of it is.
Our behavior and
Yeah.
a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And a lack of
I
knowledge.
didn't know
Because if you
That's
fight
like the
people,
biggest thing.
Yeah.
If we stand up and fight people, then it makes it harder. But if people know it's going to be an easy steamroll, then big money comes in and
they will take it.
Yeah, they'll do
My
it as an
God.
yeah. So in retrospect, if I were to do our TOPA transfer again, I would demand that they give $20,000-$50,000 more than they gave us. You know, I mean, these developers got the money.
Oh,
Right.
They set you down and say, how much do you all need? It's what they do. Now, I'm not knocking developers because they're good. I'm glad we have them. But what I am knocking is if they cannot sharpen their pencil and only can provide for rich people, despite the fact that you get subsidies from the city and tax breaks to the millions of dollars for
Right.
horizontal development, and you can't sharpen your pencil a little bit where people can live in a city and it be affordable city for them to live in? No, I have no respect for that because that's called greed.
Yeah, it really is.
That's called greed. Yeah. In fact, a good friend of mine who's a developer, we're supposed to do dinner on Tuesday, and now I think he said his wife will be available, but I want to let him have it a little bit and let him know he needs to do a little bit more.
Right.
I'm not afraid to let these people know, and in fact,
I know that's right.
several people in the city have told me how much they appreciate someone that's just honest with them.
That's honest.
Just let them know. I need a little bit more from you, Doug. Jamal, Douglas Development, you've done so much in the city. I need a little bit more. I don't mind sitting from across the table from him and telling him, yeah, we need you to do a little bit more because you can afford it.
Right.
Indeed.
You
Yes,
know?
indeed.
I mean, if you've been given this great opportunity, there's the scripture go, whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if it's a scripture or just become
Yeah.
a
No,
more
it
of
is a scripture.
It is a scripture. So I'm the son of a pastor. I should know that.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't know whether people were just saying it over the years,
But it's okay.
yeah. Okay. Alrighty. You excuse me for that.
Okay. But I'm also thinking too, because we've got something coming up next month where they're going to be come on now, I don't have the paper with me, doing redrawing areas, for
Redistricting.
Yeah, and not it's rezoning. That's
Okay. Rezoning.
They're doing
okay.
rezoning, and they sent a paper out, and I was concerned because Rose and I live in the same district. I got the paper, she didn't get it. So I'm wondering how many people did not get it, but I'm saying that, and I'm saying that on the airways because we need as many people to call their county council representative, because the same thing that happened in DC seems like, just based on what I read in that mail out, is about to happen here if we let it.
Right.
So we've got to show up at I know the dates of the meeting. evening meeting 6 to 8 on November 7th.
Make sure you all get that out. Yeah, that's really important.
November
Yeah.
23rd, and they got a morning meeting November 21st and November 7th are evening meetings. November 23rd is a morning meeting, 10 to 12. But call your county council representatives, because that same kind of thing is about to happen out here as well. They say, we're going to be doing some rezoning. And when you open it up, your taxes may go up.
May go up, right.
Yeah, your property value may change. Y'all better wake up and pay attention. You got to do what you got to do. We cannot continue to let local politicians and developers just to steamroll us.
Yeah, and they'll do that. That's what rich and powerful people will do if you let them.
Yeah, if you got to show up. Janice Crudup. Let's see, what is DC's equivalent to? What is this?
MDDS.
No, MDOS.
MDOS.
I don't know what MDOS is.
I'm not sure what MDOS.
Janice, can you just text us or call in and let us know what MDOS is? And see if we can get this question answered, since we have a legal mind at the table.
Yeah, and if anyone has any questions for me about specifics in the city, or questions about, I won't get too deeply into what my future plans are, but
he's gonna run for mayor. So you're getting
you're getting it from us. Okay, you see, he's gonna run for mayor.
Yes,
Bottom line, because no, for real, James, I know.
You care. You get it.
I really do.
That's
so we gotta, we just had like one of our heroes out here, BJ Page.
Oh, I like B. He just had a birthday the other day. Right, okay.
We just had him.
He just got the emerging leadership award.
Yeah, he got the emerging leadership award, and he got his seat was stolen from him. That's how I feel.
Yeah, it was.
So and I feel the same way about you.
Oh, we gotta say allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah,
allegedly. Yeah, and so I just, like I told Tamika, his beautiful wife, she's like just been in his corner, just everything, because he's a busy man, and it's like he's an energizer battery. He never stops.
Right,
okay.
Right, yeah.
And so just to hear her yesterday, and I told her, I said, he was handpicked by God Almighty. Yeah. Okay, so it's going to be, when we have these people such as you, such as BJ Page, such as, us, it's going to be these obstacles.
That's it.
That's put in the way. It's going to be these trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
I think that's when all of that stuff starts setting in.
Right.
That's going to keep you from getting to the place where God has picked out for you to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But I will say this: if you know you're on a mission from God, He will give you the strength and the fortitude to go right around it.
Yeah.
So I don't look at not becoming mayor this time as a setback whatsoever.
Yeah.
Honestly, I look at it as a blessing. That now I'll be better prepared if I choose to run again. I know a lot more about the city. I've made a lot more connections in the city with people of like mind that truly care.
I'm not liking your verbs that you use if you choose to.
You know I have to bridle my words cautiously.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. I always leave a little possibility for fluidity in life. I mean, 2 years could come. I could say, boy, I could feel I've got another assignment.
I really hope so, because I've met a lot of politicians and a lot of activists. I can feel your conviction and what DC does. DC needs you.
Thank you.
What's next for you, though? Because like I said, you are the man with many hats.
Right.
Human rights. Children's rights.
Civil rights.
Civil rights. You know what I'm saying? Rights.
Well, it's been less than a year, so I am taking a little reprieve here. I think around December, I'm going. And I was telling Miss Angela this. I don't know if you heard early on. that I think I need a vacation. I haven't
Yeah.
really.
You and me
so,
both, James.
I'm feeling like I
You
need
and
a
me
little
both.
Wasn't you in
vacation.
California the week
Oh
before last?
yes, I was in
But
San
that was
Diego.
trusted. No, but let me tell you.
Oh, he was
When
working.
you see, when you see this man, no, seriously, because he's all over the place, and it's
I
not
always
just
bring
here.
work with me.
Right.
Yeah, I really do.
He's working.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Nosy,
because
how'd you know I was in?
I follow you
Yeah,
on
we follow
Facebook,
you.
Mr. Mike.
We follow you, even though we're not making no noise. Okay, we're not stalk. You know, we
love
don't want
you
we
all.
stalking you.
When I
You
saw
know,
you there, I
from
got my
afar.
Gatorade and took a sip.
I actually have a wonderful friend who's having a baby there.
Yeah.
And, she's late having her baby, so they'll probably have to force her to have it. But I was at a baby shower there, and so went out for a few days for that. But
Yeah.
I need I'm talking like
A real vacation.
you know, sand between
Yeah,
the toes,
that's what I'm talking
sun,
about.
beach.
Like I'm going on.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
it.
want
tomorrow.
to, I have this ideal vacation for myself. Like, I just want to go somewhere, okay, for like a week. I want to spend 3 days sleeping. No, seriously, because
This is funny.
I want to spend 3 of those days
3
sleeping.
days. That will
You know,
never happen.
Yeah, I mean, even, because I'm going to turn that phone off. I'm sorry, y'all. It's
Bro.
going to be,
You are not wrapped like that.
I know.
And you
You
know,
ain't wrapped like
the
that.
first day, she'll be up at 5 a.m. I guarantee you. It never works like that. When you're like, hey, I'm going to spend all day sleeping. That's the day you get up early and go to bed.
I try. I try sometimes, but it doesn't work because these missing babies.
That's right.
These
a lot to
murder
look after.
babies.
Yeah.
These, just these situations, and I just have so many things. Like I want to pass laws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to these kids, like I'm getting ready to go hard. I'm going to pass this criminal neglect law. I'm going to get it written.
So
I know you will.
do we need to write a second letter and deliver it to?
Because I really want to get into that.
That's really where you can, and that's why I'm doing so much writing. That's where you can really push the change.
Yeah.
And I have the term limits law that I wrote early on in the year. That's still being decided by the courts. There's a
Right.
chance we could win it, I think.
Yeah.
I think actually a strong chance that constitutionally what we're trying to do is permit it. But we've got to put pen to paper and start changing laws. That's the way to do it.
We have to.
Yeah.
That's because that's what I tell everybody. It's like, we can't just sit around and just continue to watch this stuff happen.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to come up with some solutions.
Yep.
I really am. It's just all about, for me, it's
You
all
will.
about solutions.
You will.
Yep,
So
that's
right now,
We
like
know
I
what the
said,
problems are.
like right now, that's all I have. It's like I'm thinking about them 2 babies.
Right.
And just
And how many
neglect-
babies
and how many
before that.
babies
Right,
before that,
absolutely,
and how
thousands.
many babies is going to be after that if I don't do something.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So now I got my big girl drawers on, like they would say, and the only thing I have on my mind right now is getting these laws passed to protect these
You will.
children.
Please let me know along the way. I'm committed to.
Yes,
the
I need
causes.
your help. That's why I'm letting you know this. I
and I'm
need you
very
all's
open
help
to help.
because I know, I don't have the college degrees and all of that stuff, but I know in my head what I want this to be about.
Right.
Here's what I know, Rose, and I tell you this all the time. You do not need a darn degree to think.
That's right.
You don't need a degree to think.
Yeah.
I'm
just tired of seeing
Some
it.
are super smart.
I'm tired of seeing it. I had a really bad time just, with the outcome of them 2 babies. Especially with cases that you advocate for. Right. You know what I'm saying? I have been, in full contact with Birmingham. Birmingham's police chief.
Wow, I didn't know you were
she's
that
all
close to it.
Yeah, I was that close.
everywhere.
How you think that I had so much information
Yeah, I
on my
know
page?
you had an unusual level of information.
Yeah,
regarding
that's how.
Wow.
You know what I'm
She's
saying?
incredible,
Because,
isn't she?
that's
Both of
how.
you are just
Because I'm
incredible.
reaching out to these people. Like I said, I like to hear straight from the horse's mouth. I don't want to hear all of this stuff that goes on YouTube, Facebook,
Right.
all of the stuff people putting out there. I got down to the nitty gritty. And it was just reaching out to these people.
I don't know that anyone in the country is doing that work in that
Nobody
area.
is.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
and
saying. She
then
is the advocate.
I went a little bit further than that, and I started reaching out to their local news media. Fred Davenport, Channel, 13, Channel 42, CBS. That's where I got my information
Exactly.
from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Up to the minute information. When there was none, I didn't have none. When there was some, I got it. But that's how that works. And that's how that works for me with most of these cases. I didn't have the pleasure of talking to Cupcake's parents. I wish I could have. That's my second adventure because, like I said, I want to talk to them. I want to get their input on it, but I'm not going to just sit up here and conjure up a whole bunch of shit, and I haven't talked to these people.
Right.
Exactly.
So that's my thing. It's just, like I said, when getting in touch with this law enforcement, that's what I do. That's me. That's what I do on a constant basis. And dealing with a lot because my following and my teaching don't just lie here in the DMV area.
Right.
I have dedicated advocates all over this
country.
world.
Yeah. I know you've done a ton of work.
All over this world.
Yeah.
It used to be all over this country, but now it's more like all over this world.
Wow.
And they reaching out to me, and people, I had an organization just, sent me an inbox, and she was like, "Oh my God, I see your stuff. I see you everywhere." She said, "I see your flyers. I see you everywhere."
That's what they need. That's what they need.
So when somebody that I don't even know, you know what I'm saying, just come in my inbox like that, she was like, "I really want to work with you."
Right.
Today, Jabez Spann, the 14-year-old that went missing back in 2017, who was later, they actually just found his remains.
Oh my goodness.
In February. His
February
mom
of this year?
This year. One of those situations, but this was a 14-year-old boy. You know what I'm saying? And his mom reached out to me, just came in my inbox, and we talked. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I want, like I said, I don't have all of the wordings. When I'm speaking to you all, it's coming from here.
Can I ask you something? I know I'm here for you all to ask me questions, but I want to ask you, when, if ever, will your work be complete?
Never. It's going to be complete when I feel that these black children that are going missing, these 75,000 missing girls, are, we done put names to them. We done at least try to find a closure, because I don't care how long a person goes missing, there's still a family out there that wants to know where their loved one is.
Absolutely right.
Like I said, I'm working with cases where, Pinky May Hearn, she was missing at 19 years old. She went missing in 1976. Today, her daughter is 45 years old. She was 2 years old when her mom went missing.
Wow.
43 years has passed.
Wow.
And you think that them kids don't want to know where their mother at? Pinky May Hearn's mother, her mother is still alive. You think she don't want to know where her child is?
Exactly.
Right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so when we get to the point where everybody knows about what's going on, and I can make these changes because I physically see them. I know that black children don't get ground searches like the Caucasian children.
Right.
I know that they don't get the immediate attention like the Caucasian children. So as soon as that happens, and I see the change in it, then we
Just
all
like
good.
we talk about.
You know what I'm saying?
When the change,
we're all good.
Manifests
absolutely
themselves.
I can't
That's
fight.
when it stops.
I have my priorities.
I could say the
You
name
know what
John
I'm saying?
Benet Ramsey, and you would all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, because
like I said, when I was 11 years old, Adam Walsh went missing. I didn't even know black people went missing. But I know, getting older, that it was children that was missing in 1971, way before he went missing.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
So when we get to that point, then that's where it's at.
That's it.
Thank
Yeah.
you for the work you're
It is
doing.
about to.
Thank
right?
you.
both.
Thank you.
Wrap up.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank
Yes,
you
indeed.
for coming in.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, thank
and
you
this
for
ain't gonna
having
be
me.
your last. Oh no.
Yeah, it really.
Like I said, we got some work to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
And I just I need you to help me with this. What I'm doing.
I'm committed to the fight. I really
Yeah.
am. I'm here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm reachable, findable, and yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah, let's clap it up for special guest James Butler. Thank you, y'all. We're coming to the end. It's like when we get these people in here that you really want to talk to, time just flies. So you know you got to come back like really soon.
What? Trust me, I'll do that.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. A show coming in behind, so
I really love you.
So we gotta go. We gotta go.
Wait a minute. Every week we start you with something good. We leave you with something good. So again, count your blessings instead of your crosses. Count your gains instead of your losses. Count your joys instead of your woes. Count your friends instead of your foes.
Okay.
Count your smiles instead of your tears. Count your courage instead of your fears. Count your full years instead of your lean. Count your kind deeds instead of your mean. Count your